Morning crew, welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. This is the next episode, whichever that turns out to be, certainly day 3 over the bank holiday weekend, the last day we have to basically get the majority of the work done, the major work done on building the mini off-road adventure trailer, which is forming part of the kit to support Mrs. Mechanic riding a little tiny Honda monkey bike all the way from Cape Reinga down to Bluff off-road, about 4,000 kilometers. In total, the trailer will do probably about 6,500 k's, maybe 7,000 k's all up, including getting to the start and back home from the finish. So it's got a fair way to go. And especially the off-road stuff, you know, we're going to be going through rivers, down gravel roads, up mountains, footpaths, you name it. This trailer's got to do it. And it's quite a unique little tiny trailer. It's a very small chassis, but it's super strong. And with that independent coil sprung suspension from Cruisemaster, I think it will be absolutely brilliant. Now, yesterday on the last episode, the last thing that I did was finished all the major welding on the chassis. They're all done now. The suspension system is in, the brackets and so on. And I think this morning the first thing for us to do is to bolt up, just bolt up the suspension system so we can sit the trailer on its wheels and get an idea of hitch height, because I need to align, you know, roughly the height of the hitch on the Suzuki Jimny that's towing it with, if I can, there is some wiggle room with the hitch height on the trailer, because we want the trailer to sit nice and level when it's once it's loaded up, and the Jimny's got a bit of weight in it as well. So it's critical sort of measurements now, but we couldn't do that until we got the suspension system put on the trailer. Once that's done and we've got an idea of that, I can make up the hitch. I've then got to get my head around how on earth I'm going to get the handbrake system to work, because it's a cable activated handbrake, and traditionally the handbrake mechanism is on the actual hitch. I'll show you, hang on. Here we go. Right, it's quite heavy. This is the Cruisemaster Super Special maximum travel hitch for when you're traveling off-road. If this is obviously this trailer, this is the towing vehicle, you've got all that angular movement, and it also rotates as well, you know, in that plane, so the trailer can twist from side to side as it goes over the bumps, which is brilliant. But for me, because we've got the Extendo-hitch, which is the drawbar on the trailer can be made longer and shorter, we can't have the handbrake in this position because the cable is a fixed length, and when we extend the drawbar out, of course the cable would need to get longer and be readjusted, and I don't want to be messing around like that. So I really want to locate the handbrake. Basically, I think it's going to have to go on the side of the tube for the Extendo hitch. I have to wait and see. So that's work in progress, but that's a concern. Plus, it would never work in its current position because this actually would drop down inside the box, and of course there's another piece of box section in there that has to slide in and out, so absolutely will not work. Easy stuff like mudguard height to work out. Again, we can do that once all the wheels and stuff are on. I want to put some guides either side of the chassis, just flat plates that are bent out, maybe 30 degrees. Weird camera angle today. About 30 degrees. A bit like they use on the trucks for the containers. When they're loading the container onto a truck, they have those big steel guides that bring them down into exactly the right position. And that will work well for the pod. When we load the pod on, it'll align all the bolt holes. Yes, work smart. And I've also got to work out where the rear lights are going to go and the number plate. Nothing can be bolted to the pod, because we need to be able to take the pod off and use the trailer for other stuff. That's the whole idea. A bit like Thunderbird 2, you know, you can put different pods on and use it for different things, because it's quite an involved little trailer. It'd be good to be able to make use of it for other duties other than just adventure off-roading. That's the plan. Okay, I'm going to grab a coffee, a ciggy, and have a little think about today's activities. Mrs. Mechanic's going to be in the workshop as well, helping out. She's going to start to clean up the chassis, and maybe, just maybe, she'll get some paint on it this evening. We'll see. Okay, crew, see you shortly. Used.
You don't paint something without working.
Honestly. It's a hive of industry in the Under Mechanic workshop. We're cracking on with the trailer. It's all coming together. Go and take a look. Ooh, nice. Okay. Stop, dog. What are you doing?
Cleaning your welding splatter again.
There isn't any, look. Brilliant. Perfect.
That's because I've chipped it off.
Apologies for the audio. So Ben's busy cutting out plates to hold the mudguards on. Mrs. Mechanic is tidying up my welds. Get rid of the splatter, that's what she's doing. And I'm working on the hitch and the extender drawbar thingy. And we've also had to fit the tyres to the chimney, the new tyres and wheels, so we've got an accurate hitch height. But more on that later. Right, back to making this hitch. Oh, it's warm in here, isn't it? You got more on? Yep. Excellent. Well, hang on, because we're going to need some more. Lovely, lovely. That's one of the camps got to.
What can we watch tonight?
Monday night. Oh yeah. Might be the finale. Happy Valley.
Happy Valley? Have you not watched Happy Valley?
I haven't heard of it.
Sinner! Sinner! What's the television?
Alright? Yeah. You've got a thing about spraying me in sparks again.
Coffee push.
We're running out of time today. Ben's got to be off at 5 o'clock and we've got lots still to do. We're at the point now where we've collapsed the suspension down to a fully compressed state. We're taking the springs out. We've measured the distance from the top spring mount to the lower spring mount in the full compression state, which is 155 millimeters. That's now chocked with some wood. and we've set the mudguard height an inch above the tyre, so to still give it clearance when should the suspension ever fully compress, the tyre's not going to rub on the guard, which is really important. That will dictate where the mudguards are mounted onto the chassis. Very, very important. Often I come across trailers and stuff where the mudguards have been rubbing on tyres, and that's really bad. It doesn't do the mudguard any good, and it damages the tyres. So Ben's made up some steel plates, he's cut all these down. We'll head over to the trailer now, and we're going to start to mark up where things are going to go, where the holes are going to be, and we've got some little brackets here, look, to go on the chassis. They're going to get welded on the chassis, and then those longer plates will bolt to those and then onto the mudguard. And the reason for that, the reason why we're not just welding these straight onto the chassis, is there is a possibility that in an off-road environment the mudguard might hit a tree and get bent, and they're pretty strong, and I wouldn't be able to straighten it out on the trail. So if we have it a bolt-on item without leaving large brackets hanging off the trailer, then if need be I can always take the mudguard off, put it inside the trailer and carry on and straighten the mudguard out, you know, once I'm back in a workshop. So that's where we're at. Once we've done that, we're going to work out the Extendo-hitch drawbar length. We can get that cut down. We've got the little chimney parked outside now with the tyres and stuff on it, and we're going to swing the trailer around by 90 degrees and measure up what we want to be the fully extended length of the hitch, and then we can mark up where the holes are and stuff and drill that. It'll all make sense shortly. Here we go. Right, Ben, had your lunch?
Yeah.
Me too. Pork sandwiches are very nice, actually. Jeez. Right, so we've got the springs taken out, as you can see, some chocks in there, and we've measured from this flat surface here up to where the spring mounts at the top, 155mm. So that's the suspension fully compressed. We've given it another sort of 50mm clearance, that's that block of wood there. And now we can come round here, Ben, if you come around this side, look. We can then start to mount up the front mudguard mount. So that is going to go on there, probably about down there somewhere, so we're just below this fold on the mudguard, and it'll sit a bit further out, probably about level with the edge of the start of that roll on the guard, and then that will get welded onto the chassis, that little piece there, look, and then we're going to have two bolts in the horizontal plane to bolt it to it. The rear one's a little bit more difficult. Come around here, Ben, you can maybe hold this for us. If you hold that onto the guard, that's right, it's going to go about there, and then again we'll have another plate just sat behind there. We've got enough overlap for two M8 bolts, which is exactly what we wanted. So fingers crossed it's all going to work out okay. The guard is actually quite tight on the tyre. I was hoping for a bit more, but this is the biggest guard they had. So we're going to give it a bit more clearance at the front through there. Remember, this is the fully compressed position, don't forget, for suspension. And the rear, if it's too close, what we'll do is we'll trim this bit off and we'll fit a mud flap at the rear, which will make up for that. It will solve that problem. So, time to get to work again, Ben. No more break time, okay? So we've got our approximate position. So if you draw a centre line down the middle of there, okay, you can do that bit. And then if we do that, oh, that's bang on 60. So we'll do that at 60. And if you drill one with a pilot, and then you can just use that as a template for the other three, yeah? That's where that hole's going to go. And that was 60mm. Yeah. And then that one, 175. If you measure in half, centre punch, measure in half, centre punch, and go and drill those, let's say 3mm, 3 or 4mm, and then we can just clamp that over the top of the rest of them while it's still small drill bits. Mark them all, and then drill them all out 8mm, because we're going to use M8 bolts. Okay, so you go and you crack on with those. Once that's done, In fact, if you do your centre line all the way down, and then what we'll do is we'll bolt this onto the mudguard, and then we'll work out what our overlap is. And then from that we can work out where the holes go on there, yeah. We stood here for like 2 minutes waiting for you to start filming. We haven't got time for this. We really haven't. Right Ben, if you want to lift that up, I'm going to pop Mr. Springy back in. Oh, perfect. Self-ejecting wood. Okay, in he goes. Right, that's the. Oh, you brought the wood, look. Right. Minute. Hang on a minute.
Steady. Right.
Okay, shock is on.
Well, hang on. Do we even need shocks on?
I'm going to leave it together. I'll pull it
Oh,
out. So shock number 1. You want 2 bolts, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones you're using, yeah?
Well, temporary ones, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
I thread lock on.
Woohoo! Holy moly. You have to come in because the people want to see what we're doing. You don't hang around over there, you'll never make a camera person.
Careful, you really roll it off there.
I wouldn't do that. I'm professional. No, I'm knackered. Tell you that. I am buggered, in fact. Right, just nip them up, they'll go mad. They've got to come off again. I think we've done alright, you know, because when I started on Saturday morning, it was just a pile of box section. Now we've got a trailer, pretty much. All the main welding's done. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to wheel the trailer outside, attach it to the back of the chimney, the ultimate chimney machine, but at 90 degrees, so then we can finalise the extended length of the Extendo-matic hitch. I keep calling it different things every time.
You do.
Extendo
I
hitch.
the Grom
That's
one to
it.
work out the final. Monkey line.
No, I'll just
You
stick to
do
my original plan. Yes. Guesstimates are always good. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing to say that you can't have more than just max, than all the way out and all the way in. You could have an intermediate length because it's an Extendo-matic hitch. It's brilliant. Okay, Oh, the mudguards are on, by the way. Can you show the people the mudguards? Pretty good. If you do a side-on look, it looks even better. Look at the clearance! It's an off-road mudguard. All this stupid, like all these lowered cars where you can't see the tyre tread and they have the mudguard, the arch down here somewhere. This is off-roading. This is how it should be. That's how tyres were designed to be seen. Big high sidewalls, big chunky knobblies, and a nice big high wheel arch. Okay, let's get it outside. This trailer's actually quite well made, isn't it? So, you know, if you go by weight. Right. Hang on, I've got to take the cap off. I've got to. Come here. This is important. You see, you've got to look at the important stuff, right? Super special hitch. Right, to set the hitch, press the button down, push it in, release the red button, and it holds it in place. And then you can put it over the tow bar, this special hitch here. Oh yes, and press the red button. Boom! Off-roading, here we go! Right. So we need to slew the back end around a bit more, because we need to be 90 degrees or perpendicular to the chimney. See? And this has many benefits. One is, if the food's in the back of the Jeep, you can open the back door and get to it without having to hitch the trailer. That's really important when you're off-roading. Okay, so in its current, you see we can extend it a long way. Oh, look at this! How cool is that? Hey, you like that? It's pretty cool, isn't it? Good job with that. So we've got monkey bike zone here. We've got, if we assume, right, we go with the handlebar, because the handlebars are going to be out here somewhere, right? So if that's the end of your monkey bike zone for your storage for the bike rack. If you push it back in, Ben, a bit, pretty good. All right, stop there. And as we are there, so you want to come round, honey, with your camera, because you want the right angle for the people. So you're looking down the side of the Jeep now. No, you're over there. And you're going to go that way a little bit.
Side step
That
to
way.
the left, side step.
And you're looking down the length of the Jeep. Right. Jeez. Send me a cameraman. Right. Okay, so the bike is across the trailer. The handlebars are at this end. The back wheel's at that end. Handlebars come about here. That's quite a gap, isn't it? Should we make it a bit less? That'll do. Right, that's going to take the handlebars to about there. That should be alright, shouldn't it? I think. So, although the difference is, right, if we go with that, the difference between maximum and minimum length is only about a foot.
Right.
Which is not a lot, is it? Really? So put it back out again, man. Stop. Okay. I think we go with that. That seems better to me.
And the other thing to remember as well, when you're at 90 like this, the trailer and the Jeep might not be on level ground if this is higher.
That's right. We could be at the bottom of a hill upside down.
Maybe not to that extent.
Yeah. And by going a bit more, you see, there's nothing to stop us putting the jockey wheel on the outside.
I thought you didn't want it on the outside.
I didn't, but just all this space, we're not gaining much by it, are we? By trying to tuck it on the inside.
Well, just you glancing off stumps.
Yeah. But it swivels. And I don't know if there's enough room in there for it to swivel up. You know? Because it has to swivel. It's not like one of the ones on that they pull through. It's a silly one.
It's like a fishing boat trailer.
We're sort of. For a stomach trailer. Okay. Alright, that'll do. I'll get marked up. I'm not going to cut it today, I'm just going to mark it up and I'll cut it next time in the workshop. I think we've done pretty well. I really do. It's an amazing job. Do you think we've done a good job?
Yes. I think you've done fabulous.
Hard work. Really hard work. Lots of variables. Lots of problems to solve.
It looks very much like a trailer.
It's definitely a trailer. It's massively over-engineered. Both the suspension system that's on it is just way over the top for what we wanted. Really, it was planned. And the chassis, because of the suspension system, the chassis is now massively stronger than we originally planned. And probably heavier. We've not weighed the chassis yet. Weighed the pod.
Yeah, we did.
So what was 100 kilograms?
Yeah, yeah.
Pod was 100 kilograms. I reckon the chassis.
Are we including wheels with it? The whole
Yeah.
package?
We should weigh it actually.
Yeah, you should weigh it.
We'll weigh it.
I'm going to say it's close to 200.
We'll weigh it.
Let's weigh it.
Let me mark this. I reckon we're going to go with that as the length of the Extendo-hitch. And that means that we've got, basically, when we push it up, it'll shorten down to probably about here. So we're getting about an extra 60 centimetres. Don't look at the blobs, it hasn't been cleaned up yet. About 60. We don't really want any longer, do we? So I'm going to take this Extendo-hitch out for now and we'll put it back in the garage.
So we're going to weigh that in a different way, separate.
No, I'm going to put it in the trailer and the garage.
We're gonna weigh the trailer.
Alright, hang on. Yeah, stick that back under the front. And then we can put the Extendo-hitch in.
Yeah, you need the extendo bit to get the true weight.
Are we filming?
Yeah.
Lovely, look at the speed holes. It's not quite cleaned up yet. That's Mrs. Mechanic's job, but look at that. Speed holes on a, not only on a trailer, but on a trailer Extendo-hitch. Ah, this is really heavy. Now, I will be cutting some off that.
You're gonna need that.
Look at that. Right, you get your strut round. I'll get the crane scale set up. Right, battery's at 90. Nothing on the scale. Are we ready? You have to steady it then, because it's not, we're not going to be banging in the middle for the balance point. Right, so we need to go further back, don't we?
We do.
Right, you ready? On 0. Right, you can start filming now. You've been filming for a while, haven't
Of
you?
course, yes.
Thank God for editing. Right, are you ready, Ben?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. You need to be over there.
Yeah, but you told me to.
Yeah, we're about there now, aren't we? Ready?
I'm
Nice! So what does the, you need to be around there, honey, because the scale's over there.
going, I'm going.
What does it say? Oh, rest on the trailer. What does it say?
266, 267.
267, bloody hell. 267 kilograms
Oh,
for the trailer.
266.
No, it's near enough. Right, it's near enough. It's going to get heavier anyway. 267 for the trailer and 100 for the pod so far. And I'd said 500.
Yeah.
Finished.
Yeah.
500.
You got a bit of headroom.
I reckon we'll be all right.
Is that including roof tent?
No.
I'll decide that later on. Right, we're coming down. Yeah, you ready?
Yeah.
Whew, what a day! It's about 6:30 now. Ben left about an hour ago back up to Auckland, so I'm here all on my own. It has been a very busy day. It feels like we haven't stopped at all, and I know I haven't done anywhere near as much filming as I was hoping to do. What have we achieved today? Well, we fitted when I came into the workshop this morning, we had just a bare stripped chassis, just all welded up on the main workshop bench, which is where the tripod is now. So we assembled the chassis, and Ben was given the task to fit the mudguards. Now that involved making up some plates and bits and pieces, and he had to cut everything from a piece of flat 6mm flat plate that we had kicking around, because the rule was to make this trailer as much as possible from the steel stock that we had here in the workshop. And it hasn't been possible for everything. Some stuff we've had to buy, but we need to try and keep the cost down. So he was busy cutting plates and stuff, and I was busy doing the hitch, and basically that seems to be about all we've achieved today. Oh, and we fitted the tyres, the new wheels and tyres to the chimney, because we had to do that to get the hitch height on the Jeep, to give me a rough idea of whether I put the hitch, the coupling, on the bottom plane of the box section on the Extendo-hitch or on the top plane of the box section. And we all had a pretty much big hunch that it's going to be the bottom, because the trailer is actually quite high because of the suspension and the tyres and stuff, so that's what it is. But the chimney is probably and most likely going to get a 2-inch lift kit, an old man Emu 2-inch lift kit fitted, which will bring the tow bar up to basically the trailer will be absolutely horizontal when it's on the back of the Jeep, which would be ideal. At the moment it's about 60mm down on the hitch, so the trailer sort of sits a little bit higher at the back end at the front. Being a single axle, it's not the end of the world, and I mean, don't forget the trailer is completely unladen and the trailer's going to carry most of the weight, so that should help to level things out as well. But I bet you'd like to see what we've been up to. Here we go. So first of all, this is the coupling now, all mounted up. You can see it rotates quite easily, all mounted up on the extendable drawbar. Now this hasn't yet been cut to length, but I have marked where it's going to be cut now, and that's what Ben cut out of that 10mm plate. So I put, it was pretty heavy and way over the top, so I put some speed holes in it to make the trailer go faster. I thought you'd like that, just a bit of a touch. And at the front here, this is where the chain has to go between the trailer and the back of the chimney. In New Zealand you have to have a chain, or like on the Ip Williams trailers, a cable which then will apply the handbrake, the brakes of the trailer, should it become uncoupled from the main hitch. For this particular vehicle, we're just going to use a normal chain. All right, so that's another reason why we had to have that gusset there. But it was also to reinforce this plate. This is also a 10mm plate. All this is made from the same stuff, and of course that gusset extends right back under the box section. So I'm pretty sure that's going to be strong enough. Probably going to blank off this front of the box section here, stop all the crap getting down there. There'll be a nice plate that goes on there and get welded up. And if we pan across, are you ready? Look at that. It's got the mud guards. Now it is fully built as regards all the suspension stuff put on. We've left all the bolts loose because it's all got to come back off again, because Mrs. Mechanic's still got some more cleaning up to do. And she's got to paint the chassis as well. The mudguards are galvanized, they won't be painted. The mudguard brackets are bare steel, they need to be painted. So that's another little job for Mrs. Mechanic. And we integrated, remember I was telling you about those little metal bars, so that when the pod's lowered down off when we use the digger to do that, we've got these little guides so it'll run in and drop down, so it sits on there and we can line the bolt holes up pretty easy. So we integrated that with the mudguard bracket at the rear, so that worked out pretty well. And we've got the brackets at the front as well, and we wanted to have these bolted on so that if this bit gets bent, it's easy to replace. It's just a little stubby bit on the axle on the chassis that's welded on into place. And they're not the finished bolts, by the way. All right. Just to stop the comments right there. The jockey wheel has been clamped on. It will not work in that position. I am very, very confident, and it's a bit annoying really. It's going to have to go on the outside of the chassis of that A-frame piece. It's the only way it's going to work, because in this area here we've got the bike rack for the little Honda monkey bike, and this thing, it's got a little quick release arm here, look, on a spring. There you go, so you pull that back and then it rotates 90 degrees and locks into place. But at the moment, it's just there, so it's easy to move around on clamps. Not a problem. So there you go. That's how far we've got. As regards the track, do you remember before I said I want the track to be the same as on the back of the chimney? We are 30 mils out. Now that's not, this is 30 mil wider. That's not bad considering the chassis is dependent on the pod width. The pod was designed and built before we even knew we were having this kind of suspension. It was originally going to have leaf springs and a traditional hubs and stuff. So 30 mil, I can cope with that. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to stick out too far from the chimney. In fact, it probably won't stick out much at all because the chimney's got the wheel arches and stuff as well. So there you go. I'm actually really, really happy with it. It's sort of come together very, very well. I'm sure you've seen lots of panoramic views of the trailer now. But hopefully it's going to inspire a few of you out there that are thinking about building your own trailer. Give you a few pointers, a few helpful hinty tippy things. Oh, the hubs still need to be built proper. They've been built up pretty much dry. I've got to take the hubs off and they'll be greased and everything. That'll be the last job to do before it actually starts the trip. Or in fact, before it goes for its warrant of fitness, believe it or not. So there you go. Little trailer. We're getting there, aren't we? Okay, crew, that brings me to the end of the third full-on day getting this trailer built up. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click on the subscribe button, and that way you won't, and don't forget to turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss any of the future videos. If you'd like to support the trailer build, and we've still got a lot of equipment to buy for the trip, we've just found out today that Senna, they did the motorcycle helmets and the two-way radio stuff for motorcyclists. They've just brought out a Senna unit. It's called a K10 Pro or something like that it is. And it also has a little video camera in it, a 2K video camera, which is really high quality. But the beauty is, it's all integral. And when you're talking between the bikes, between different Senna headsets that are keyed, into that particular unit, it records the conversation at the same time as the video, all onto the same memory card. That will make editing the videos a million times easier. So if you're watching this and you know more about that stuff, we need the, in fact, hang on, let me get my phone and I'll tell you exactly what it is. I took a screenshot, so just bear with me. I know this is almost like live TV, isn't it, really? Oh no, screenshots. Sorry. Right, it is a Senna 10C-Pro. Okay. Now, we need one of those, which obviously I have to buy, and hopefully they're going to be available here in New Zealand because there's no time to get it shipped in now, I don't think, from abroad. But I also need, for me driving the Jeep, I need a Bluetooth headset, just any old Bluetooth headset with a boom, so I can stick something reasonably robust, to be fair, so I can stick it on and I can communicate with Mrs. Mechanic on the bike, and that will be fantastic. So I'm going to try and speak to Senna, the importers of the Senna equipment tomorrow for New Zealand, and just see what they can do to help as regards supply the equipment. Paying for it, if they can give me a decent price, even better. Now, where else do we get to? Can I put my phone on the bench? Not really. I'm going to have to do that. You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, so feel free to check out those platforms. If you need to email me, then please do. It's andymechanic@live.co.uk. That's andymechanic@live.co.uk. It's in the description of the video. So if you want to support the build and all the equipment for the trip, that's done through the Andy Mechanic PayPal. And it's the same email address again, and there is a little tiny icon on the home page on the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. In the banner on the right hand side, bottom right hand side, there's some little tiny icons. One of them is the PayPal icon, and it's a donation, so you can click on that and do that, or you can go through Patreon if you want to support us on a monthly basis. Or I think you can even do a one-off payment through Patreon, actually. Nobody ever has, but you can give it a go. Or if you want to support the actual trip itself, and the funds from that are going towards the Alzheimer's Trust, That's why Mrs. Mechanic's doing the trip. You do that through the Give a Little page, and I'll put a link in the description again for that. It's called Just a Fish, and it's the Alzheimer's Trust, I think is the full title, but I'll put your link in there. So that brings me to the end of a very, very long weekend. I mean, I didn't work through the night. I'm too old for that now, to be honest. I'm knackered. I did get a text this afternoon, in fact this morning it was, from one of the surf clubs, and they have 2 ROVs. One of them's here getting a top end rebuild because it overheated, and the second machine we suspect has done exactly the same thing. So it looks like I've got 2 machines to fix before we start the big adventure trip in March. And to do those 2 and get this trailer built and get all the other equipment ready for the trip, man, it's going to be hard work. It's going to be very, very close, to be honest. We might have to delay the start of the trip by a couple of days. We'll have to just wait and see. Anyway, thank you all for your support. I hope you're finding these videos interesting and helpful. I haven't given you any measurements of the actual trailer chassis, really, because everybody's trailer is a different size. This is a very, very specific trailer. So there was no need, really, I didn't think, to give you exact cutting dimensions, because nobody's going to build a trailer exactly the same size as this one. Your trailer is your size. But what is important in these videos is how we've gone about building it and the features that I've incorporated into the design and why we've done the things the way we've done them. And a lot of this chassis design has been dictated by the suspension system that we chose, the Cruisemaster suspension. And that really changed how I was going to build that chassis. And I'm pleased it came along when it did, because if I'd already started building the chassis, man, we'd have had to start again, and that would have been more cost. So there you go. Okay, crew, thank you again for all your support and for watching. Give us a thumbs up, give us a comment. Why not comment? If you've built your own trailer at some point, tell me about it. You know, what problems did you have? What problems did you have once you started to use it? Did things break? Did you want to change it in any way? There is one modification that I wanted to make to this, which we decided not to do, which was to move the rear crossmember back by about 30 mil. It wasn't the end of the world, but if I'd known at the start, it would have been in the right place. This is the way it goes. Okay, got to tidy up. See you next time. Cheers, crew. Over and out.
And we get the flip again.
Oh!